know they're coming to. Sure. It's terrible because I was writing that. Should we sing after? Seems kind of. See you all here. Welcome to the 8th grade reenactment of the events that took place with Juan Diego and Our Lady Guadalupe. We are glad to see you all here and hope you enjoy our production.
A long time ago, in the country that is now called Mexico, there lived an Indian man called He Who Speaks Like an Eagle. He lived in the village of Tolpetlac with his wife, where they raised corn and paid taxes to the Aztec Empire. Then the Spaniards came. They brought their Christian faith with them. Soon, He Who Speaks Like an Eagle and his wife became Christians, and they adopted the Christian names Juan Diego and Maria. One winter, Maria became sick and died. The friars helped Juan Diego to accept his grief with the knowledge that Maria was safe with their Creator in heaven. Juan continued to work hard. He also helped take care of his old uncle. While praying often, Juan also attended Mass every weekend. It was the 9th of December on one Sunday when Juan Diego took the familiar, long, hard walk towards Santiago to attend Mass. While on his way, Juan passed the hill of Tepeyac. Stopping, Juan thought he heard a bird sing a song he had heard at Mass. Juan heard a woman's voice calling to him. Juan saw a beautiful lady dressed in the robes of an Aztec princess. There was a bright light that surrounded her, and an array of beautiful flowers, and an angel at her feet.
He oído algo. ¿Que no soy yo el único que ando en esas montañas? Dios mío, ¿qué veo? ¿Estoy soñando?
Did I hear something? I thought I was alone in these mountains. My God, what do I see? Am I dreaming?
Juanito, mi pequeñito, ¿a dónde vas?
Juanito, my little one, where are you going?
Señora, voy a México. Voy al templo para oír la Santa Misa, en honor de la Madre de Dios.
My lady, I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to the temple to attend Mass in the honor of the Mother of God.
Hijo querido, quiero que sepas que yo soy la Madre de Dios. Oye cuidadosamente, hijo mío. Tengo un mensaje muy importante para ti. He venido aquí donde puedo mostrarte mi amor por ti y por mi gente.
My dear son, I want you to know that I am the Mother of God. So listen carefully. My son, I have a very important message for you. I have come here where I can show you my love for you and for my people.
Como un simple sembrador de maíz, ¿puede ayudarle a usted, mi señora?
How can I, a poor simple corn grower, help you, my lady?
Ve con el obispo de México y dile que te envío con esta petición. Dile que lo que has visto y oído. Dile que debe construir una iglesia aquí inmediatamente.
You are to go to the Bishop of Mexico and tell him that I have sent you with this request. Tell him all that you have seen and heard, and tell him that he must build a church here right away.
Sí, mi señora.
Yes, my lady.
So Juan Diego hurried into the busy city and to the busy house of the bishop. Entering the courtyard, Juan Diego met the bishop's assistant and told him about what he had experienced.
Juan Diego, Su Excelencia, el obispo está muy ocupado. ¿Ves toda esta gente aquí? Vas a tener que esperar.
Juan Diego, His Excellency the Bishop, is very busy. See all these people here? You will have to wait.
Pero padrecito, la señora dijo que hablará con el obispo inmediatamente.
But Padrecito, the lady said that the bishop was to be told right away.
Juanito, ten paciencia y espera hasta que yo puedo arreglar todo para que puedas ver al obispo.
Juanito, be patient and wait until I can arrange for you to see the bishop.
And so Juan Diego waited, and waited, for there were many people ahead of him.
Perdone que le interrumpa, Su Excelencia, pero un niño dice que le trae un mensaje.
I am sorry to interrupt Your Excellency, but an Indian says he has a message for you.
Un indio con un mensaje para mí. ¿De quién es el mensaje?
An Indian with a message for me? From whom?
De la Madre de Dios.
From the Mother of God.
¿De la Madre de Dios? ¿Qué has dicho?
From the Mother of God? What have you said?
Sí, Su Excelencia.
Yes, His Excellency.
Pobres indios, siempre soñando, y muchas veces tienen unos sueños tan hermosos. Déjalo entrar, quiero verlo.
Poor Indians, always dreaming, and many times they have beautiful dreams. Let him in. I want to see him.
Finally, in the late afternoon, the friar returned and led Juan Diego in to see the bishop.
¿Cuáles son tus deseos, hijo mío?
What is this you wish of us, my son?
Su Excelencia, he hablado con la Madre de Dios en la montaña de Tepeyac. Ella me pidió un favor. Ella quiere que se construya una iglesia allá para su gente pobre.
Your Excellency, I have spoken with the Mother of God on the hillside of Tepeyac. She has asked me to request a favor. She wants a church to be built there for her poor people.
The bishop had heard many requests that day, but there was something about both the request and the man requesting it. The bishop had his doubts about Juan Diego. So, the bishop asked again what he had seen and heard, and again, Juan Diego repeated the story again and again. Finally, in Juan's own Aztec language, the bishop said,
Hijo mío, tengo muchos asuntos del estado que debo atender primero. Si tú regresas dentro de unos días y repites todos los detalles que tan cuidadosamente nos has dicho, vamos a pensarlo más seriamente. Pero por favor, ten paciencia con nosotros.
My son, I have many pressing matters of the state that I must attend to first. If you will return in a few days and repeat all the details you have so carefully told us, we will think about it more seriously. But please, be patient with us.
With that, the bishop gave his blessing, and the friar came and led Juan away. And so, as he walked away, Juan felt that he had failed. He never thought that the lady's request would be turned down. Tired and sad, Juan went back to the hill of Tepeyac to tell the lady of his failure. The lady was waiting for him at the same spot on the hill.
Juanito, ¿por qué estás tan triste, hijo mío?
Juanito, why are you so sad, my son?
Mi hermosa señora, le he fallado. El obispo estaba muy ocupado y no me pudo ir.
Oh, most beautiful lady, I failed you. Oh, the bishop was too busy to listen to me.
Mi señora, estoy seguro que el obispo no me creó, pero me dijo que se regresará dentro de unos días y dijo que iba a pensar acerca de mi historia.
My lady, I'm sure that the bishop didn't even believe me, but he did tell me to return in a few days, and he did say that he would think about my story.
Mi señora, quizás fue porque yo soy un pobre, ignorante sembrador y no hice su petición apropiadamente.
Perhaps, my lady, since I am a poor, ignorant farmer, I did not ask your request properly. Could I have messed it up?
Mi amado Juanito, tengo muchos mensajeros que he podido mandar, pero es a ti el que necesito y quiero para este propósito. Te ruego hagas esto por mí. Ahora regresa con el obispo y dile que yo quiero que se construya una iglesia aquí, en este lugar.
My beloved Juanito, I have many messengers that I could have sent, but it is you that I need and want for this purpose. I beg you to do this for my sake. Now go back to the bishop and tell him that I do want him to build a church at this very place.
Mi señora, voy a hacer lo que me pidió. Regresaré mañana al atardecer, con la esperanza de traerle buenas noticias esta vez.
My lady, I'll do as you have asked me. I will be back tomorrow at the setting of the sun. Hopefully, I'll be able to bring you the good news this time.
Ve en paz, Juanito, hijo mío.
Go in peace, Juanito, my son.
The next morning, on Monday, the 10th of December, up before daybreak, Juan Diego set out for the church at Santiago. After Mass, instead of visiting with his friends as he often did, Juan went once more to the bishop's house.
And there, as before, Juan waited and waited to see the bishop.
Hijo mío, ¿por qué estás de regreso tan pronto? ¿No te dije que necesitaba varios días para pensar acerca de la historia?
My son, why are you back so soon? Didn't I tell you I needed several days to think about this matter?
Juan then repeated what the lady had told him and what she instructed him to do. But the bishop's assistant interrupted, saying,
Su excelencia, dice que no puede ser lo que le pides. Necesitas regresar con tu señora y decirle que le trae a nuestro obispo alguna señal. Una señal que dije claro que es ella realmente la Madre de Dios. Y que son sus deseos que se construya una iglesia en la montaña de Tepeyac.
His Excellency says he cannot do what you have asked of him. You need to go back to your lady and tell her to give our bishop some sort of sign. A sign to make it clear that she is indeed the Mother of God, and it is truly her wish that a church is to be built, as you say, at the hill of Tepeyac.
Pero por supuesto, padre. Gracias, padrecito.
At this time, Juan Diego left, his heart filled with joy, and hurried back to tell his lady what happened. Meanwhile, the bishop did seek understanding through deep thought and prayer about Juan Diego and the strange story of a lady and request for a church at Tepeyac. As soon as he could, Juan returned to the lady on the hill at Tepeyac and told her everything that had happened at the bishop's house. She smiled at Juan and said,
Juanito, gracias y yo entiendo. Hijo mío, regresa mañana por la mañana y daré una señal para ese buen obispo.
Juanito, thank you. And I do understand, my son. Please return here tomorrow morning, and I will give you a sign for the good bishop.
But as Juan arrives home, his neighbors come to meet him.
Juan, apúrate, tu tío está muy enfermo. Tenemos miedo de que muera.
Juan, hurry. Your uncle's very ill. We're all afraid that he's dying.
Juan spent the 11th of December caring for his uncle. After looking in on his uncle, it was clear that none of the tribal remedies would have saved his uncle. So, on the 12th of December, in the early light of dawn, Juan started to run back to Santiago. Juan needed to fetch the priest so that his uncle could be anointed before his death. It was only a matter of time as he approached on the hill of Tepeyac that he remembered the lady's request. And he decided that he must go and get the priest first, so he took a different path. But as he rounded the bend of the lower road, he saw her. She was still surrounded by the rays of light and appeared to be standing on the late crescent moon, supported by an angel of colored wings.
No se enoje conmigo, mi señora. Mi tío está muy grave. Necesito un sacerdote.
Please don't be angry with me, my lady. My uncle is near death, and I need to get a priest.
Hijo querido, ¿tú crees que yo me voy a olvidar de alguien que quiere tanto?
My dear son, do you believe that I would neglect someone who loves so much as you do?
No, mi señora.
Juanito, por favor no te preocupes por tu tío. Él no va a morir de su fiebre. Él está curado.
Juanito, please do not be concerned for your uncle. He will not die of his fever. He is cured.
Hearing these words, Juan was filled with joy and asked for the sign.
Mi señora, ¿qué señal le llevaré al obispo?
My lady, what sign will I take to the bishop?
Mi querido Juanito, sube a la cima de la montaña y toma las rosas que encuentres ahí. Ponlas en tu tilma y tráemelas.
My dear Juanito, climb up to the top of the mountain and gather the roses you find there. Put them in your tilma and then bring them back to me.
Even though Juan knew that the flowers, especially roses, did not grow in the winter, he ran to the top of the hill. There, he found the most beautiful roses. He bent down and, picking the best blooms, gathered them into his tilma and hurried back and kneeled before the lady. Touching the roses so as to arrange them into the tilma, the lady tied the tilma around Juan's neck and said,
Esta es la señal que le envío al obispo.
This is the sign I send the bishop.
Ve rápidamente y no te pares por el camino.
Go and go quickly. Do not stop along the way.
Sobre todo, no le enseñas esas flores a nadie, solo al obispo. Cuando él vea esta señal, él construirá una iglesia que le pido.
Above all, do not show these flowers to anyone except for the bishop. When he sees this sign, he will build the church that I have asked for.
And so, for the third time, Juan Diego set off for the bishop's house. As fast as he could walk, arriving at the bishop's house, he was kept waiting again. And although he was asked several times to show what he had brought, Juan refused to show them what was in his tilma. As the hours grew long and it was getting late, Juan was beginning to think that he was never going to see the bishop, but he waited. When the bishop heard that Juan was still waiting to see him, the bishop jumped up with anger.
Tráeme a Juan Diego inmediatamente.
Bring Juan Diego to me at once.
Juan was then rushed before the bishop. When he saw the bishop, Juan Diego said,
Tengo la señal que usted me pidió.
I have the sign you've asked for.
As he said this, he untied the tilma and let the roses, still fresh and damp, as if they were just cut minutes before, fall to the floor. A cry came out of the bishop as he saw the empty tilma. He began to recite the Hail Mary.
Dios mío,
My God. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia. El Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén.
Juan joined in the prayer. Then he realized that the others were not looking at the roses, but instead at his tilma. Looking down at his rough cactus fiber tilma, had a painting of the Lady of the Hills of Tepeyac.
perdóname, hijo mío, por todas mis dudas acerca de tu historia y de haber visto la Virgen María, Madre de toda nuestra iglesia.
My son, I'm sorry for not believing your story about your meeting with the Virgin Mary. I will build the church you've asked for.
Taking the tilma from Juan, the bishop and everyone formed a procession as they took the tilma of the private chapel. After meeting with the bishop, where Juan explained about the encounters with the lady, Juan returned to his village. After seeing that his uncle was well again, and after a few days, there was an adobe chapel built at the foot of Tepeyac, where the tilma was displayed.
Juan Diego spent the rest of his time at the chapel. Today, there is a great church built there at Tepeyac. And to this day, millions of people come on to visit and pray before the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And today there is a Mexican blessing.
May
God be as good to you as he was to Juan Diego.
Desde el cielo una hermosa mañana, desde el cielo una hermosa mañana. La guadalupana, la guadalupana, la guadalupana bajo Tepeyac. La guadalupana, la guadalupana, la guadalupana bajo Tepeyac. Suplicante juntaba sus manos, suplicante juntaba sus manos. Y eran mexicanos, y eran mexicanos, y eran mexicanos su porte y su faz. Y eran mexicanos, y eran mexicanos, y eran mexicanos su porte y su faz. Su llegada llenó de alegría, su llegada llenó de alegría. De luz y armonía, de luz y armonía, de luz y armonía, todo la nua. De luz y armonía, de luz y armonía, de luz y armonía, todo la nua. Junto al monte pasaba Juan Diego, junto al monte pasaba Juan Diego. Y acercóse luego, y acercóse luego, y acercóse luego al oír cantar. Y acercóse luego, y acercóse luego, y acercóse luego al oír cantar. A Juan Diego la Virgen le dijo, a Juan Diego la Virgen le dijo. Este será el hijo, este será el hijo, este será el hijo para hacer mi altar. Este será el hijo, este será el hijo, este será el hijo para hacer mi altar. Y en la tilma entre rosas pintadas, en la tilma entre rosas pintadas. Su imagen amada, su imagen amada, su imagen amada se dignó dejar. Su imagen amada, su imagen amada, su imagen amada se dignó dejar. Desde entonces para el mexicano, desde entonces para el mexicano. Ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano. Ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano.